Hey B-Siders, welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we have a wonderful guest with us today, returning to the show. It has been so many years, so long, because of the break and everything else. We have Kyle Hester, and I didn't screw up your name. That's the second time I didn't mess it up. Because the last...
You're not gonna mess it up.
No, well, the first time, if you remember, I call you Heston. So I was thinking Hester.
Oh.
Remember, Hester sounds like Charles Heston. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to say Heston. And that's the first thing I did. I felt like such a
That's
dick.
funny. That's funny. Don't think about the elephant. Don't think about the elephant. So there's an elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So Kyle is joining us because we have been following, well, all the stuff that he's been doing. And listeners, you know, I've been talking about him and his YouTube channel. Signing up, supporting him, going to Patreon, coffee, the whole thing, because of this film Preacher 6 that has been like a roller coaster ride. And I think this is like the epitome of indie filmmaking. What can go wrong will go wrong, and just the uphill slog that it takes to get things done because you don't have $1.5 million and a guy with a free moving hand writing checks out. No problem. We'll get this done. So, hi, Kyle.
Hello. Well, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. This is great. It's so awesome to reconnect after all this time. So this is, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I appreciate
it.
Yeah. So why don't we just dive in?
Okay.
Oh, did you have something?
No.
Okay. Let's talk Preacher 6. So the last time we talked to you, it was because of Zombie with a Shotgun, and you played Bounty Hunter Hank there, and then we had talked to Hilton, and then we had talked to you, and then we talked to Hilton on just the story of it and whole indie film, and you had mentioned Preacher 6. We signed up way back when on, was it Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
Indiegogo, yeah.
Okay.
This is something interesting because Indiegogo now does not do it's all or nothing, you know, just like Kickstarter.
Oh.
It's not variable anymore. So basically, the way that I was able to, you know, fund Preacher 6 all that time was through like little bits here, little bits there, you know, kind of just like. But it's like now, man, it's like, I don't know, like how it's possible, you know, to raise enough money to make a movie, you know, all at once. You know, it's like, especially indie, when it's like, basically, it's like, because you can't, it's like you put a cast together and it's great, but it's like you can't count on your cast members to be, you know, online, you know, pumping a fundraiser for 30 days in a row, you know, like the filmmakers, you know. So it's super challenging unless you have like, you know, 1 million followers, and you know, you can count on like maybe 1% of them to you know, to jump on something, you know, which is about, I think that's about the rate of transfer. It's about 1% of people that will actually put in, you know, to a campaign.
Right.
So it's like you gotta have big numbers, or you gotta have money from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And well, I know you had a couple campaigns. I think you had the initial, and I know you had one for effects to finish up some effects.
Yeah.
I want to say there was maybe a third one. Maybe it didn't go anywhere, because you know when you look up somebody, it shows all their.
I've had quite a few campaigns on Indiegogo, and some of them, like you said, didn't really go anywhere. So it's just like, okay, we'll just, you know, just shut it down and you know, come back and try again later. Maybe it's the wrong time of year, wrong month, you know.
Right.
There's a holiday, you know, politics is getting in the way of everything. It's like you never know, you know, what's going to happen, you know. So you just kind of be flexible and just keep going.
Yeah.
So, tell us what else has been going on since we last talked to you.
Well, see, the last time that I talked to you was pre-COVID, right?
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So basically since then, and this was part of the reason, like as far as Preacher Six's journey, um, it started, we did it pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, and then like, a bunch of people that were working on the movie got sick, including myself, and that basically put a lot of a lot of people kind of down and out, that were doing the post production. So so just then we moved during like from LA, when it was getting really bad, when COVID was getting bad, and like, they were shutting down everything, and we had people, the whole like tent city Hollywood, like that was beginning to happen, back then, and we're like, we got to get out of here. So we moved to Mandeville, Louisiana, which is right outside of New Orleans. It's on the other side of the causeway, for those familiar or not. Um, and the causeway is the longest bridge in America, 24 miles. So, yeah, so that we were there for about 6 months, and during like the height of everything, and then things started to slowly open up, and got back here, and we're like, okay, I'm dealing with like brain fog, and I can't really do anything, so it's like, okay, we're just gonna have to take a pause on post production, and so I started working uh, with my next door neighbor, started working at Dropout, with him, getting the studio together. So did that for a little while, and then because I had lost, some of the people that were working on post production, so over that period of time, I basically taught myself how to edit, which I never thought I would be saying. That was never a sentence that I thought that I would say.
It's
Is that
the
like
indie film way.
it totally is. It totally is. It's like basically, and as the producer of it, it's like if something goes wrong,
It's on
I
you.
have to figure out, it's on me,
Yeah.
to finish it, to make it happen. So the money was gone. So there was no money, can't pay anybody, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. So then it looks like I'm gonna have to get a computer and a monitor, and learn how to edit and do all that stuff. And so to that point, that's where the documentaries came into play, like Tent City Hollywood, and all of the other stuff, Haunted Lake Lanier, and all those other little spooky documentaries that I did.
Cryptids.
Cryptids, yeah, all that stuff was basically honing my editing skills before I went and like got into Preacher Six. So that's kind of that road, and that was like,
That's really
it
smart.
takes thank you, yeah, it takes a long time to learn to be proficient at editing. It's like it's its own art,
Oh,
so it's like,
yeah.
yeah, so it's like I wasn't comfortable, until I had, it's like I wasn't going to touch the film until I knew, what a J cut and what an L cut is, and like how to do those things, like, in the matrix of, this digital world, how to like, uh, I don't have the computer on. I could, show you, but then your audience couldn't see because this is not a visual. But anyway,
True.
so there was lots of yeah. So I had to learn like all kinds of stuff, and then also like, it's like, okay, I'm not a visual effects artist, but it's like, maybe I should learn some of that, like along the way. And so I've had help from other people, with that, and so it's been like a big journey of how are we going to get this done, and getting it done. I mean,
Mhm.
I would say, um, you know, most of the film it's in the can. So we have to, not, well, it's been in the can. It's done with the edit. Most of the timeline is done except for like music and some VFX.
Mhm.
In the very end, and then some stuff in the beginning. So it's like one way or the other, this is coming out like early next year. So
Okay.
Ooh.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we will get it done. And I know that, like, it's been so long, since the inception of the whole thing, that I'm sure it's going to surprise some people. They kind of forgot about it and like, oh yeah, it's just
Yeah.
another film that didn't happen, you know,
Yeah,
um, because that happens a lot.
it
People
does.
like start something and then just never get it finished. But
Yeah.
but that is not going to be this story. So yeah, but I think some surprises would be like, holy shit, Preacher 6 actually came out. It's like, that's awesome. But like I know that there are some other movies that took like 8 years to do too. So I feel like
Yeah.
we're in good company.
Well, we've mentioned before Wormwood, Road of the Dead. It's an indie horror from Australia, and they spent 3 years filming that only on weekends because everybody
Oh
had
wow,
had jobs and
yeah,
stuff, and we were just like dumbfounded.
Yeah, 3 years just on principal photography.
Yeah, and
yeah,
because watching it, you would never know. I can't even imagine what the nightmare of
wow.
continuity tracking would be weekend, and then you got to wait till the next weekend, and sometimes not that weekend because someone has something
Oh
going on.
yeah. I mean, and people change the way that they look over 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a magnificent job with that, but that's what we always talk about. If you're going to get into indie film, stuff doesn't go quick. Stuff you just
Yeah.
you can't. If you have the kind of money to make it go quick, you're borderline. I mean, you're still indie, but you're borderline B movie level, where they have like some sort of financial backing.
Right.
But I know I don't think anyone who's followed you on your channel is going to be surprised about Preacher 6 finally coming out. Because one of the things I've used your channel on YouTube for an example is that's your motto, just keep going.
Just keep
And
going.
yeah, and you have filmed and filmed and filmed and filmed. I mean, all your walks, the journey to get the car, the journey back, the hotel shots or the hallway shots, and the well, shooting different things, the bows, the hand crossbow, all the different stuff you did in your backyard.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've talked about how that you have to be prolific, to keep yourself in that mode of being serious about what it is you're doing, because you did all of that to elevate the channel to finally get to a point where you could monetize it. And
Right.
that's what it takes. You can't just be like, I'm going to make 3 videos, I'm going to put them out there, and I'm going to wait for everybody to suddenly find them. And then
Yeah, no, it
magically,
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. I mean, I thought that it would. I thought that, everyone gets into, YouTube thinking like, oh, I'm just going to make a few videos and, it's going to be awesome. And it's like, there's millions of viewers. So why wouldn't people just like,
Find it.
blow up the channel, you know? And I made so many videos as you know, and it's like it wasn't going anywhere and it wasn't going anywhere. And then all of a sudden, I had this one at the Errol Flynn video there where I went and like to Runyon Canyon and like looked
yes.
at where he used to live, and it's just like all of a sudden YouTube decided that that was going to be the video that they showed people, and so that video kind of went kind of viral, and it 50,000 views or whatever it is now. But it's like that's what ended up monetizing the channel. So it's like, holy cow. And then the documentaries that I did, the Haunted Lake Lanier and the New Orleans one,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that are being consistently shown, on YouTube. It's like my walking videos now hardly get seen. So it's like YouTube picks the thing that was popular. So then it's like now my channel is like popular for spooky documentaries. So
Okay.
when I go out and do a walking video, maybe 100 people are going to see it, which is weird,
It is
but
weird.
it's like,
Yeah.
it is weird, so it's like, okay, so it's like so when I'm done doing Preacher 6, then I'm gonna get back into making these like spooky documentaries, because it's like, oh, if YouTube likes that, then I'll do that for for YouTube, and
Yeah.
I'll still do the walking videos for the people that that will see those, but yeah, YouTube just doesn't show those to people.
That's interesting. It, it's, I mean, YouTube is its own beast, but it falls into the same thing of, this is what you do when you're writing on a show. This is what you do if you have like a web series that you're doing that's, being shown on whatever. But you have to follow the trends. You have to follow the moods. And of course, YouTube is deciding the moods. But anyone who's, so listeners, I know a lot of you have watched the show, his channel, and those of you who are about to, it's very weird because and I'm not doing this to suck up because, you know, we call people assholes if they're assholes. But you're one of the most genuine people on YouTube. None of the stuff that you do is like gitchy or glitchy or, all this stuff. There's no bedazzling going on. You're going for a walk and you're taking folks with you, and your talk is very honest, and who you are on the video is who we've talked to on, these interviews and who I've corresponded with,
Yeah.
just a very genuine person, and the kind of person that you want to sit back and like, yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle on a 15-minute walk to the gym or to Home Depot or wherever he's going, or, if he's driving to Home Depot. And it's just so odd that those things aren't considered traction. It's always something
Mm-hmm.
that's not, I guess, real life, on YouTube
Yeah.
anymore. Because I follow a lot of people. There's a guy who in England who it's called Travels by Narrowboat.
Oh,
And
cool. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I've seen that channel. Yeah.
yeah, with Kevin. And he got a divorce, sold everything, bought a narrowboat, and decided to just sail up or drive up and down the canals and throw it on YouTube. And it took him a long time. Same struggles that you had, and I know Hilton talked about it too. Where like started out, trying to get stuff on Amazon, and then Amazon was, paying like a penny every 10 views. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's ported everything over to YouTube. But it's those kind of casual real life things that I don't understand why someone like YouTube excludes, because there are audiences,
it is. It's
right?
Yeah, unless you're like, like Adam the Woo, that's all he does, so he's got like, bazillions of followers that follow this Adam, just wherever he's walking around in Florida and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, that's been his channel the whole time,
Yeah.
so for me, when I like started putting up these spooky documentaries and scary stories and that kind of stuff, it's like the algorithm kind of changed and was like, oh, we like this now, and like, you're going to go on your walk, but like, nope, that's not the same, because we're showing this other audience, we're showing this spooky audience your walking videos, and they're not getting it. And then like, people that are like walking it's like, so it just decided, that was going to be the thing. So I'm going to keep doing both, but yeah, it's very strange. So, and it's like you talking about, like just being like genuine, and it seems that like YouTube doesn't really like that, so it's
Right.
like the thing that's, is something haunted, it's like what happened around, on this corner in 1937, it's like those kind of stories that I'm that's something that I could do, but it's like it's not really what interests me. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Didn't you at one point had several regular videos where you had mentioned, and this was a little while back, that you were doing those shorts, and that somehow completely jacked up all the
Yep.
numbers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, and the channel was doing great. And then all of a sudden I started just doing a few shorts every once in a while, and it totally messed up the long form views, so it's like, So then I became like afraid to do any shorts because it's like it's going to screw up this delicate thing, that like can get screwed up just by putting on the wrong thing, and then all of a sudden it's like the views go down. So it was like, because I was thinking, when I first started, YouTube, that it was like, oh, this is going to be great, and I'm going to have like this additional income, and and that's going to be like part of how I make movies,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it's not the case, so it's like it's fun and it's a platform, and it's like I get lunch money,
Yeah.
from it basically, but that's really that's really it,
Mm-hmm.
for now. Maybe that, when I'm done with Preacher 6, maybe that'll pick up when I start putting more like spooky documentaries on and that kind of thing.
Right.
Then yeah, but so you just never know. It's like you just got to keep on rolling, and then um the streaming app Fossum, like they picked up like all of my, spooky stuff, and the first quarter it was like, oh, each one of them is making like $30, so $10 a month. So I was thinking $10 a month times like 100 documentaries, it's like that'd be $1,000 a month, so this is how I started to think. It's like, okay, because so if that's Fossum, I have money coming from Fossum, and then a little bit from YouTube, and then whatever gets on Amazon, which nothing, it's hard to get those kind of things on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
The Haunted Lake Lanier, that's the only one that made it to Amazon. So it's like, but it's like I said, you just keep going, and it's like, talk to Hilton about that. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are we gonna, how are we gonna do this? How, as indie filmmakers, how are we gonna navigate, this world? And like, it turns out that you have to have multiple income streams.
Right.
So it's like
Yes.
each project becomes its own income stream. So because you don't know who's going to pick it up, how much traction it's going to get, is it going to make any money? It's like you don't know. I mean, Preacher 6, I think will do well, because it has celebrities in it, so that'll get, some traction for that, you know. But like, so Hilton had some footage that he had shot 20 years ago, um, for the movie Amityville, the Lost Tape. Have you seen that?
His
Okay.
footage or
Okay, so
the
this is
movie?
then you haven't. It's like Amityville, the Lost Tapes is the last movie that he put out. Um, so if you go to his the link will be like on his Twitter and my not my I was about to say MySpace and Blue Sky. So, but the funny thing is like I helped edit. Like he had edited that stuff, but then he put together the beginning and the end of the movie, and I edited like that stuff for him for
Mhm.
for that film. And it's like it's it's not he's not getting rich off of it, but it's like it became like another income stream. So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, so I just gonna have to just keep putting stuff out, and then it's gonna be the collective of all of the work,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
And, you can never stop. If you want money to be coming in, you can never just stop doing things.
right.
We've talked to our friend David, who lives in Scotland, and he does independent films, and he has he's lucky enough to have the financial backing to where like his films run in the like 100K, 250K
100
range.
yeah, 250 I think was I Am Rage.
Yeah.
Or no, Primal Games.
But every time he's done with a movie, he's got to be on to the next one like immediately. And if he
Yep.
goes a year without making a film, he's dead.
Well, here's the thing too. He is the poster child for what happens when an indie filmmaker actually gets contacts that can give him a financial backing for projects, because he spends an inordinate amount of time chasing down distribution, all these things that go wrong. And then he's got people calling him and hounding him. Hey, how come it's not spiking? You know, where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? And we talked about that on an episode, basically just the paradigm shift. You know, there are people who A, just want to get into the business in Hollywood. And then there's B, people who want to do all this stuff, but don't want to mess with that nightmare. And that's why we have indie film. And you get someone like David, who his first couple films were self-funded. I mean, he didn't have backing and stuff. And then he got through to where he had people, he got the right distributor, the right people saw it, and they're like, hey, we'd be interested in what you've got going next.
Well, it was, one of his films got real big in Germany, but he never got any money for it because it was all pirated.
It got real big in Germany because the distributor redubbed the entire movie without his permission.
Whole weird situation.
Which I guess was in the contract. But yeah, he's like, you know, regardless, it's still my movie. Could I have some money? He's like, how do you go to Germany and track these people down? I don't want to go to Germany.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know of good stories from distribution, you know, which is why, like, Hilton and I are like, nope, So we put everything on FilmHub, and through FilmHub, it's like, if your movie makes any money, then you will make money from it. Mm-hmm. So you get the money. You know, it's like the whole like distribution racket, you know, for low budget films. You know, it's like you're never going to see a nickel.
Nope.
You know, because it's like because they are going to put, you know, well, it's going to be $5,000 for the new trailer that we did we already had a trailer. Well, we cut one anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, and so and they're the poster art and, like, you know, all of the things that they put on top of the filmmaker's back, you know, for getting it onto the same Amazon that I can get my film on the same Amazon. It's the same Amazon. Yeah. It's not like you have a different Amazon than I have. You know, so it's like, unless you're going to put money into, like, you know, posters and advertising and magazines and all this kind of stuff, then go fuck yourself, you know? So, pardon my French. I don't know if you
don't even worry about it.
Oh, you haven't listened to our episodes in a while. God, shit, fuck, piss, twat, cunt, bitch, all of it. Right, you know it.
Right on.
Well, that brings up a good point. Real quick question. Do you still have stuff on O-Prime?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Because I know you had talked about that quite a bit as it was in its inception. And
I have quite a few of the things on O-Prime, and I think I got like 24 people or something like that, or 50 people to go register. So I make like $100 a month, you know, from O-Prime, which is great. It's like something that I actually like. I count on that. You know, so I mean, and this is like kind of where things are. It's like each thing is a something, but it's like, as far as O-Prime goes, it's like there are so many other platforms to point to. It's like in order for me to like make that the thing, it would be like, okay, I'm only going to put out stuff on that platform, you know,
right? And then you sort of restrict yourself.
And exactly. So it's like, you know, you can window things or whatever, but I don't know. You know what's interesting? There's a new app that just came out from FilmHub called Relay, and and so it's brand new. Like, it just came out like 4 days ago. So it's FilmHub's app. It's a subscription thing. It's like $5 a month, and they have 20,000 things, like everything that they have in their network, you know, FilmHub stuff is like 28,000 filmmakers, 20,000 projects. So anything that I have done and distributed will be on that app on Relay. So it's for like, you know, and Hilton, you know, so Zombie with a Shotgun, that's there. Like, you know, the Amityville Lost tapes, you know, that's there. All of this stuff, all of my spooky stuff, you know, it's all, and Preacher 6 is also gonna be there because they put everything that comes through FilmHub onto that app, Relay. Look it up.
I am looking it up. I just pulled it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but like, and you can, like, binge 20,000 projects, you know? And so the way that it works is like the filmmaker will get a percentage of the watch time, you know, that
Okay.
so so I'm excited to see how it all plays out, like how that works out. You know, it's like because here's what happens. Like when people like sign up for things, you know, they'll forget that they have it. You know, so it's like so if an app so which could be actually beneficial to the people that are like, you know, that are have movies on there, because it's like if people are putting feeding money into an app and the filmmakers are making a percentage of like, you know, how much watch time goes onto your movie,
Hmm.
then if there's more money, then the money per watch time gets bigger too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if I started pointing people to Relay and I'm getting you know, 60 cents, you know, a view, you know, for any of my stuff, you know, then that will all add up as, you know, things get bigger.
Right.
So I'm very excited to see how that how that plays out,
Yeah.
because it's like it's gonna yeah. So it's like if you're a fan of indie, you know, then it's like you're gonna see everything that Film Hub has ever had, you know,
Okay.
and there's like there's a lot of stuff there, you know, just do some searches.
Well, that
So
goes into what I was going to say. This is so the whole thing with apps. It's basically like the Wild West meets Lewis and Clark, because
yeah.
and I think it's a good time, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Um, we've watched a couple things on one of the services, Film Rise. Good selection of movies,
Mm.
but they got a lot of front end work to do because it is a painful app to work with.
Really.
But yeah, it's just clunky, and they just need someone
Yeah.
who can do a better job. But we have talked about, and I know people have been saying this for years, but I think it's really starting to happen. It's actually the death groans are starting to become real. I think Hollywood, in its current form and what's left of that form, is actually going to die. And I think the indie film model is going to end up taking over, more business oriented, because we
Hmm.
see so many people, so many big top people who, fortunately for them, they have enough money and gravitas where they can say anything about anyone and not worry about, you know, getting kicked out of the business. But the big insult is, you know, all the old stuff, lack of originality, this and that, too business oriented, not thinking about, you know, the story and the craft, but, you know, just what can sell. And, you know, some of them are trying to follow like the asylum model, which we just talked about in a previous episode, where it works. It works. I mean, if you're one of those people who can wake up and just be like, well, you know what, that thing I wrote, it's probably shit, but I got a paycheck and it's going to make them money and they're going to pay me to write some more crap and just keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, they got
You
a
know?
deal with the sci-fi channel, I think a
Yeah.
long time ago. So basically they had like automatic distribution, so they could, you know, so if they just kind of were just like just grinding out that stuff, and they
Yep.
know
Yep.
that they're going to get that money, you know, from the sci-fi channel. And that's how, you know, a lot of like once you get into cable, you know, that's like
Mm,
that's a whole other
yeah.
level, you know.
Yeah.
So but it's like if you're, you know, just like for people like me, you know, it's like we count on, you know, the Amazon rentals,
Yeah.
you know, and unfortunately back in the day, when the chair came out, um, this was when Amazon was putting it like everything was going directly to Prime, like for free, you know, and so distributors were like, yeah, we'll put it on Prime. Millions of people are going to see it, which will make people interested in going to see it. So then people will rent it from somewhere else, not Prime. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. You know, it's like basically you're gonna by putting your film on Prime first, you're chopping the legs out under it. People are going to watch it for free. You're not going to get any money. It's not going to make any money. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened to
Hmm.
the
Yep.
chair, and that's what happened to Zombie with the shotgun, because the distributors put it out on Prime for free first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you just killed your movie. You're never going to make any money. So if you and it's like people are like, oh, it made it on Amazon Prime, and it's like, well, yeah, that means the filmmaker's not making any money. So they don't do it like that anymore. So
Okay.
that was back in the day. So now, like through Film Hub, you put your film out, and it's going to go. Amazon is going to probably pick it up, and it'll be on there for rental. So that's why for the $3 rentals, it's like you see a lot of indie stuff, or
Mhm.
$5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it'll come out there first. And then, once it all trickles down over time, then it'll eventually go to, free streaming and the advertising, models.
Right.
But yeah, so thankfully it's not like it used to be. So you have a shot to make some money,
You do.
when it's on rental.
And I think there's going to be more of a shot because the whole thing with it being the Wild West for all these apps is somebody's going to figure out the right formula because it's that wrestling of what was and what could be. And
Mm-hmm.
the what could be is only going to be found out by accident. There's going to be trial and error until it gets worked out. But the whole thing about my confidence in Hollywood going away is indie film has become much more organized and much more uh, tribe oriented. We're a tribe, all of us people who are trying to do our thing instead
Right.
of like, shh, I've got my project. I'm going to do my thing. Don't tell anybody. Because like you keep mentioning
Right.
Hilton, and I'm just going to say for new listeners, he's talking about Hilton Ariel Ruiz, the creator of Zombie with a Shotgun, which we covered and loved. We've had Hilton on, and the last time we talked to him, we spent an inordinate amount of time talking about Frankenhooker.
That's true.
Because he brought out his old Frankenhooker VHS, and the battery was still working in the cover. You touch it, want a date?
Oh,
Anyway,
wow.
yeah. I see more and more people. If you look at old independent films and you look at the people who made them some time back, they were, their own little bastion of filmmaking. But you have a connection. You work with somebody, and I see more like we have friends. We call them the Pondo Boys, Cliff and Marty. They did the love song of William H. Shaw and Writing Frenzy and Revenge of Zoe, and it was many years in between each one to finish that trilogy. But they worked together as writing partners and then filmmaking partners, and they brought in Jeffrey Notkin, who's part of the whole thing too. I see more and more people, even David Ryan Keith, who is in Scotland. He's got his friend Liam, who's been with him through thick or thin. His wife, who
Yeah.
back when she was his girlfriend, kind of took over.
All the indie filmmakers, like build a tribe.
Yeah, they build a tribe,
Mm-hmm.
but it's easier to get things done. And I have seen and listened to people who are on either side of the camp. They're like, no. You just got to like plug ahead and don't let anyone distract you or get involved. But I myself am on the camp with the folks who are like, you got to make your connections. You've got to, it depends on what you want to do. Like we came into this, what is it, 11 years ago now?
Something
About
like that.
when we wrote our first script.
Yeah.
I've written short stories and had, I've made like $1,500 over the last 30 years for the crap that I wrote. And the last check was probably 25 years ago.
Yeah, and I've written short stories and
But
poetry and had the odd thing published in a coffee table book or something.
Yeah, but here we are doing a podcast. I have had to learn audio mixing and all this stuff shit that I never wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to make a short film. I had to learn VFX work, and because nobody else knew how to do it. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And like now we're actually going to be going on with some folks as script consultants because they sent us a script. I got to go through it. I got to make the notes. I've read it. And they want to bring us on to do that. So we're very thrilled. And we've had the discussion of, is independent filmmaking about making that movie that you wrote? Or is it about just making stuff? Like you have a script and you come to us and you're like, hey, what do you think of this? We're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. We might be able to help you out with that. Would you be more or less pleased if you were brought in, if it wasn't your script, but we're like, Kyle, we think you could help us out with this? I mean, would you say
Well,
no?
yeah,
I mean,
man. I think no, I wouldn't say no. I think it's all a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can't do everything yourself. If you're making a movie,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, I mean, Hilton said, "Hey, man, you want to help me out with this?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
So it's like it's that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that it's like the art is the art. So
Yeah.
if you
Yes.
want to be a part of somebody else's like vision, then do it. So it's like, well, one person doesn't come up with all the ideas, but there's like, we have a film that we want to do next year, after Preacher 6. So we'll get on another podcast and talk about that. But
Yeah.
it's just like what's spinning all the plates. It's
Right.
like, my wife is a writer. She has her first book that just came, that self-published on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, 13 short horror stories for bedtime. So that's and that came out like 2 weeks ago. Super cool.
Is
And
that the title? That's the plug?
yeah, 13 short horror stories for bedtime.
Okay.
That's and it's 13 short horror stories, and it's like it's getting great reviews. People are really liking it.
Excellent. We will
And
have
so it
just real quick, listeners, we will have all of this stuff. Make sure you go down in the show notes. We've gone over this before. There will be links.
right on. I appreciate that. Yeah, and so for her next one, we just launched a Kickstarter today,
Yes.
Magic Spells Delivery Service. So that's very exciting. So that's her second novel that she's going to be finishing up. And so after this week, I'm actually going to do the audiobook for the 13 short horror stories. So
Nice. Yes.
Ooh.
yeah, so I'm gonna record that, and it's just like we were saying earlier. It's like every single thing becomes its own thing.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's like, so being able to be flexible, and like, okay, it's like, so it's kind of like, if I was putting all of my energy into Preacher 6 right now, it's going to take more time to finish Preacher 6 than it's going to be for me to do an audiobook and get that out.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like it's kind of organizational. It's not gonna kill us if Preacher 6 doesn't get submitted this month, which is not
Right.
possible anyway. So yeah, so it's like excited about all the things, and then getting beyond and completing Preacher 6 so that it's something that's out, that we can talk about where to see it, and that,
Right.
and the whole experience, and then on to the next, as opposed to like, when is it going to be out?
Yeah.
which has been the story, for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that narrative is going to change.
oh yeah.
With, like I said, with everyone coming together, because I think what is going to overcome the current Hollywood model is uh, independent filmmaking. I equate it to IT. I'm a decades and decades and decades IT person. And back when I started, I actually was working in a basement in a corporation, because that's where IT was, in the basement. And the one thing I learned is you never tell anybody anything. You learn something new, you learn something about a server or this or network switching, you don't say anything, because that knowledge is what keeps you in your job. If somebody else can do it,
Mm.
you might get booted out. And to me, that's how indie filmmaking began as well. Like I said, people were like cloistered, like, shh, don't let anybody in. But I think people are coming together because it's not, if you want to be a writer, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a director, do this, this, and this. It's, I want to create, and I want to be in that process. Like, we wouldn't be talking about any of this if your main goal in life was just to be an actor and nothing else,
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a shame. I mean, we just want to be writers, but
Yeah.
we're doing all these things. We're talking about, launching a new podcast, which we talked about before this began, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with some of this stuff, and it screwed up on me. See, I admit it. But we're also talking about like we have ideas and we want to not just pursue those ideas, but we want to hear your ideas, Hilton's ideas, David's ideas, the other David, all these people, and just other people's ideas. And if we're asked to be a part of it in any way, shape, or form, hell yeah, because that's the exciting part. And I think that is what is bringing the indie community together, is that finally getting to realize it's the art that matters, not your part in it. If you can be a part of creating something, I think people are starting to see the sunrise on that. That's fantastic. I don't need my name on it. I don't need to be out front with recognition. I just want to go to bed each night. I contributed something to what I believe in. I helped create something. I helped this guy who helps this guy who did the creating. I can deal with that. And I think a lot of people are really just like coming together. And at that same note, coincidentally in Hollywood, it's like the opposite's happening. It's like, hey, we got a good story. Hell no. We don't want to break the routine.
Yeah. No, it's like it's two different animals. It's like indie projects and like the machine, of the big networks in Hollywood is like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's where, you get, people like us that are like looking to collaborate and make stuff. And, it's like, and if you can make enough stuff to where your stuff pays for it's for the next stuff,
yes,
then that's like that's the world to be in.
Yes.
So and that's what I'm
if your
striving
stuff can
for.
Keep a roof over your head and, feed
yeah. Looking for that too.
Right.
Well, I think that's part of the old belief too, was that whole kind of like Greenwich Village, grunge life back in the 60s and stuff, the starving artist. You can't be, if we were back then, I would be looking you in the eye going, Kyle, you can't even be thinking about making money, man. You can't think about being able to pay your rent for the next 6 months without worrying about it. You need to suffer for your art. And you need to fail, because that's what we all do. And we'll be remembered in history for the people who gave everything for their art.
Yeah. It's like, hey, look, man, it's like, I'm not trying to be remembered for when I'm dead. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
we got to live now and pay bills now. So it's like, geez, it's like, that reminds me of that whole like Amazon, thing back in the day. It's like, I think that there's a way now, for people to, to make a living,
There is. And I mean, more and more people rely on, their content creators that they follow on their platforms instead of going to the movie theater to see yet another Marvel movie or yet another garbage studio money grab.
Yeah, for sure.
They'd rather watch real people making real stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right.
That is the goal.
I just want to ask you one quick question. I thought I remembered correctly, or maybe incorrectly. You had to redo your VFX because the drive got lost or got damaged.
Yeah, we had some files that got corrupted.
Okay.
So and like once that happens, it's like, what are you gonna do? So you gotta so we had to redo some stuff. And like the cool thing is like with the technology today, it's gonna end up being better than it was before.
Okay.
So it's like a blessing in disguise on that. So that's why we had to like go back to all those like, different campaigns, so like to redo, some stuff that had been done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we've taken some time and I appreciate it. We both do. Really, really, man. I've been dying to talk to you. We had a 2-year hiatus because just life, and, we're getting back into it. And, we will be talking again with you and Hilton
soon.
I want to know what's going on with this movie you want to get into. Folks, we're going to have everything in the list, all the stuff about Preacher 6, the channels, everything, whatever you send me, I will put up, and Tracy's book and new Kickstarter as well.
Yeah.
So Kyle, this is your chance.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do your plugs.
So, you know what? You can find me on I'm mostly on Blue Sky. So it's like, okay. I don't know if whoever's there, I'm mostly there. So it's like Twitter. I am on Twitter. but it's like the algorithm is so pinched that like nobody sees anything that you say on Twitter anyway. It's all basically right wing garbage. So so it's like I'm moving. It's like basically once my Twitter is at the same number, no, once the blue sky is at the same number as the Twitter, then I'm just gonna like let it go.
Okay.
You know, so you
Yeah.
can find me there, and you can find me on the YouTube, Kyle Hester. You know, just look up Kyle Hester, and you can find me on any of those things. And yeah, and get onto Relay, and you'll find all my stuff on Relay. So that's it's kind of exciting to see. But thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome.
Well,
Rock on.
thanks
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks for giving us your time. Appreciate it very much.
Anytime. Yeah, it'll be a lot sooner than it was last time.
Yes, definitely. All right, man. Much love. Hope the two of you knock everything out, and I'm going to be watching your channel. I want to see good stuff.
Thank you, my friend.
All
I
right.
appreciate you both.
I added Tracy's book to my Kindle Unlimited, so I'm gonna read it.
Nice.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So that was our friend Kyle Hester, actor, producer, content creator, YouTuber,
Editor, VFX guy, the whole thing. Yeah, getting this set up, it just, like I said, it's just been too long.
It has. And what's great about interviews like this is that, we do interviews more like a meeting of the minds. Like a chat between friends.
A lot of good stuff there, So folks, you've heard from the man who I've been talking about with all these examples and stuff and everything. And I think I'm going to just go off a little bit on what I was talking about. Everyone always has been talking about the demise of Hollywood and stuff. I think it's a real thing. I think the money isn't going to be able to buy survival.
I think it's a good thing.
I think it is a good thing. And I think indie film is becoming much more organized. I think people are getting together, and yeah, maybe you're not doing the thing that you want to do, but you're in with a crew who's making films, right? You don't want to make films.
I don't.
You don't. And I get that. I really don't either. But if we have to, I'm willing to take that on, I would still love to get on a series before everything goes belly up. Right? Or our series.
Make some money so we can make our own stuff.
Well, and that's kind of it. Money is getting to be more and more available. More and more people are looking to indie film and providing funding, investors, and things like that. Campaigns are still tough. I think they're probably going to get tougher. You know what I mean?
Well, it's an extremely saturated market, crowdfunding.
Yes, it is. And it's one of those things. And here's the funny thing. We have a couple people on our Patreon, but it's that kind of thing. Like if we're losing money on this podcast, which, we do, I mean, we get really nothing for it, right? It doesn't pay for it. It's not even close.
We come out red on our taxes for,
I mean, yeah, what we get actually, I think just covers like the monthly bank charge for having the bank account.
Yeah.
And seriously. But here's the thing. I would love to, but I can't support a dozen of the people that we know. Right?
Yeah.
Because what am I going to do when I need money to do the things that we want to do? And vice versa. I don't expect all them to be contributing, because they're not going to just contribute to us. They're going to contribute to other people. And then before you know it, you're even more broke.
Right.
Right. So how do you get those income streams? Well, Kyle gave us some pretty good examples. On how
and some
to
pretty
do
good lessons on how to get income.
And now it is like the Wild West meets Lewis and Clark, those periods in time where it's just wild and crazy and that sense of adventure. And fuck it, I'm going over that next hill.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what's around the bend in that river. I'm going to find out what's through those trees. And oh, look, a mountain. Guess what? Going over that bitch.
Yeah.
It's hard and stressful and nerve-wracking and soul-crushing, but there's that adrenaline rush of I'm creating, I'm doing it, no
Yeah.
matter how long it takes, no matter how many kicks in the face you get,
Right.
and uh, I think it's like the greatest thing Kyle says all the time: just keep going.
Yep.
And the words sound easier than it is.
Well, I mean, that's always the case,
It
isn't it?
is, yeah, but it's essential. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going. We have had, so we
And
just,
if you can't, then you won't.
yeah, we got some feedback on a pitch.
Oh, yeah.
I'd sent that. Did you get a
I
chance
did.
to
I
read
read
it?
it.
Okay. So here's the funny thing. It opens up with this guy saying he would watch this series,
Yes.
right? But he didn't want to go further with it,
Right.
And from the tone of it, it sounded like he was worried we didn't have the world build out and things. And it's hard in a pitch to try and get all that stuff in there.
I mean, it's also, I feel like that feedback also went toward the tone of like, you're new, this would be very expensive.
Which we get all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Even when we've gotten super close,
Yeah.
it always comes up, money. We came up with a series that would be mighty expensive. I mean,
That's
Kevin
true.
Sorbo, remember? He asked us how much would each episode cost. I don't know. What is something? I mean, what did all the other shows you were on? What, I don't know, $1 million an episode these days? Because it's pricey. It would either be practical with building an entire ship, right?
Yeah.
Or a lot of CGI and a lot of ocean work, and how you want to do it.
And no matter how you
location.
swing that, it's expensive.
It is expensive. But with all that, the funding for indie films is getting more and more and more. The people, it's not easier, but there are many more opportunities than there used to be, because indie films and a lot of stuff that we watched from back like in the 70s, grindhouse films were basically indie films.
Right.
Right? They're like, we got $75. We're going to put 70 of it towards the film and then $5 to feed everybody.
Yeah.
And you can do all of that. And with all the new services, all the new, the new avenues for getting your stuff out there, we have a lot of things that are web-based. We have streaming services. We have all the stuff that Kyle mentioned, which again will be in the notes. I think indie film is going to grow up. And I think more and more people are finding that. We are involved with these people that we have conversations with, that we talk to, we're now working with. And it isn't about us.
Right.
It's about the movie.
Yeah, it's about the art.
The creation of something that is going to far outlast all of us, even if it's in a dustbin on the one DVD that was published 50 years from now.
Right.
Right.
And it's even less important for us to get our name on something than it is for us just to know that we've contributed.
Yeah. It's, we love writing.
Yeah.
I like doing the podcast. I like this stuff, even though it frustrates me to no fucking end.
Well, I like doing the podcast with you too, but my role in doing the podcast is mostly just talking with you. I
mean, yeah, but that's fine. I'm a tech dude, so all this shit is endlessly fascinating to me.
Sure.
I'm going to just, my own failings, I'm going to advertise them. So Kyle was very kind to sit with us for about 20 minutes as I was dealing with a technical issue that fucking came out of nowhere. I had this whole thing set up because I got it set up, off of work. We had dinner and we're going to come down and do the interview. So I had it all set up and ready to go, tested it. Everything was fine. And then while we are starting, and waiting for Kyle to join, there were some problems. Logic was having a fucking sample mismatch and this, and it was sounding. I had no fucking idea. It just worked.
Right.
So anyway, found the issue. So I had, learning. Now I got to find out what thing in that channel was specifically causing the issue. again, this is anything I never thought I'd be doing. I never thought I'd be learning how to fucking do sound design. I mean, I couldn't do it for a movie by any means, but I think I do a pretty good job with this for someone who had never had an interest in it. The only thing I liked about sound was music.
Yeah.
Music is very important to me. But I didn't mix my own. I didn't take songs off the radio, remix it, and give it hall sounds and all that shit. But I'm so fascinated with all the work that people do, not just in film, but in music production and even art and stuff. Tracy's a writer. We can get it. We get it.
Yeah.
We can understand the thrill, and we know the pains that she's gone through to get to the point where something can finally get out there. Self-publishing has been around for quite a while, but the number of avenues available to do it and reach out and let people know that you've done it is vastly improved.
Yeah.
Over what it was years and years ago. So, yeah, this is a creation.
It is.
And I like doing it. Well, I like doing it with you. I would not be doing this if it was like my solo podcast. There'd be no point.
I mean, you could.
Why?
I don't know.
See, that's the kind of thing is we're together in all of this. So my doing something like this without you is taking time away from you, which is the very last thing I would ever want to do.
I know, because we care about each other and we enjoy each other's company.
Well, yeah. And it just makes it more fun. Before we met, I spent my whole life, doing shit after hours, 2 a.m, in between night school and, having to wake up and go to work and all that shit. And it's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved doing it. But in contrast, I would never do that again.
Aw. That's sweet.
Well, and I think people are realizing that, reaching out and working together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hilton's got his own stuff going on. Kyle's got his stuff going on. But they do work together on stuff. They talk frequently.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. Creatives need to be speaking to one another.
Yeah, it's a community.
It is. And you get ideas and feedback. And I think it only makes you better.
I think so.
I saw a reel on something, and this guy was talking about writing, and he kind of nailed it on the head. He said, here's the biggest bullshit thing you learn in Hollywood. Like, if you want to get better, write more. Because you can write for the next 100 years if you can live long enough. You're not going to get any fucking better if you don't have anybody read your stuff and tell you what they like and don't like.
Yeah.
You're not going to get better if you can't take it when somebody looks you straight in the eye and says, well, it's really not good. The writing itself is good, but the story is terrible. I don't believe, this, the character, that, and da, 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 da. Okay. Nobody wants to fucking hear that ever.
Right.
But we all need to. And we have taken notes many, 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 many times. Mm-hmm. We've acted on those notes. It can get confusing because you follow someone's notes and you get it. You're like, yeah, you know what? That actually is good. And then the next person goes, eh.
Yeah, they go, actually, I think we'd rather have it this way. And it's the way that we had it before.
Yeah. And
whatever.
It gets to a point where, and this is why indie film, I think, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, is people are like, fuck it. I'm just going to make my movie. Kiss my ass. And it's going to be with fucking cardboard backdrops. I'm going to have 3 people instead of 17. Mm-hmm. I am going to have to combine all these characters and shit into these 2 people to make all this stuff happen. And there's going to be continuity errors. The color is going to be fucked up. The sound may go out. I may have whole chunks of it that may not be seen because something fucked up. But I'm going to do it because I'm sick of listening to other people tell me how it should be done. And they can't agree on it. Why should I listen to any of them?
I mean, it's a valid question.
Yeah. But
anywho,
yeah,
check out our website,
lordsofmisrulproductions.com.
Everything's on there.
Yep, we're not even going to get into it, and we're going to be on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
So we'll have that
pretty
information.
Soon. We'll have that added.
Yeah. You've made it this far in, folks, and that's right. This has nothing to do with Thanksgiving.
That's right.
The plan was right now, we would have been recording, and it'll be the next episode, for Thanksgiving, our
Week.
Thanksgiving episode week, was going to be a movie called Thanksgiving. Spoiler. And so the notes are all done.
Giving it all away.
But Kyle was able to do this, and it worked perfectly. And I would have taken the fucking day off if we had to do this like during the day.
It's called being flexible.
Well, yeah, and it's called, really wanting to just reconnect with him and, all the other people. That's an opportunity you don't just like, whenever. And I know people are busy and they're scheduling and stuff. And that's why, like I said, if he's like, oh, can't do nights, can't do weekends, I'm like, well, fuck it. How about Thursday? I'll take the day off and we'll do it. Not
Right.
afraid to say it. Anyway, so yeah, we'll have in the notes all of Kyle's stuff, and please go check him out. Sign up if you can. Check out his Patreon. Check out all the other things. Follow his channel. Do all the stuff that we want you to do with this episode, which is like, subscribe, share, review, rate.
Please and thank you.
Because that's what makes the world go round. Is there any kind of closing bits for this conversation that we just had?
No, I think we covered everything.
All right.
Well.
Oh, can I brag about the thing that's brought sunshine to my
No.
deep, dark, encrusted heart?
No.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Because I feel like telling you no.
Well, I respect you. I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. Just want to leave on this note. I'm very excited because after 2.5 years, we're going to be able to ditch fucking cellular internet that is capped and slow as shit because we live in the middle of fucking nowhere in a belly button of trees. And there was only one company that could give us service. And I hate them. I hated them from day one.
It's horrific.
It is awful. But they have somehow brought fiber out into the boondocks. And we are going to get 2 gigabit speed internet. I could get higher, but I'm not going to pay for it because we don't do that much. But going to have fiber fucking internet, unlimited.
Yeah. Means
I don't have to have 2 networks, 2 internet connections, all the devices in the house bouncing off of other ones and shit. So, yeah.
It's exciting news.
It's going to be a magnificent motherfucking Thanksgiving.
It is.
That is what I'm going to be thankful for.
And you know what's even better? I just got a notification that there's northern lights going on right now. So we should check that out.
Oh, shit. It was just cloudy out.
Well, let's go look.
Okay. All right. B-Siders, thank you for listening. We hope that you enjoyed listening to us speak with Kyle Hester. We will be talking with him again and Hilton. We're going to see if we can get Cliff and Marty back on and all these folks. I know the last couple of interviews.
Everybody, everywhere. David just finished editing Savage Prey. Yes. I think it's his newest one.
Yeah. Yes. So we're gonna tap him, and I know he'll jump on it. The whole thing with Hannah did not pan out, which kind of a bummer, but shit happens.
Yeah.
We'll try again.
All right.
Until
next time. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
We'll catch you later.
Bye, B-Siders.